All right, what up, everybody? We're live. I was a little delayed there, but that's okay. I'm here with John Long.
What up?
For my my first double-digit podcast. I'm so fucking excited.
It's pretty awesome.
I wanted to start off, obviously, again, thank you, Trasno, for the intro. Nick Kraft for hooking up on the logo and helping me out with my website. And thank you to everyone who has listened and supported the podcast so far. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty fucking insane how many people have hit me up and told me they've been listening to the podcast. And I didn't expect it. I didn't expect the amount of people that I lost connection with over the years to listen to it and give it a shot and reach out to me. Like, people I haven't listened or talked to in like 8-10 years are hitting me up awesome. Like, hey, I was listening to your shit. I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know everyone who's listening to it so far, but I do know some people, and I wanted to thank them like individually. So thank you, obviously, John, for being on 2 episodes now. Tyler Lance, Dan Sassine, my girlfriend, Sam Carvajal. Thank you to all of them. Alec Harnden, thanks, man, for listening to all the episodes and always giving me feedback. I really appreciate it. Some other people listening to it, Jesse Ray, Cyrus, Chad. You guys have been great also. Thanks, man, for the support. If you are listening to the podcast, let me know. I mean, hit me up and let me know that you fucking listen to them all. I'll give you a shout out too. A lot of people have listened to the episodes, and I genuinely don't know who the fucking people are. The people who I thought would be listening to them aren't, and I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, like I thought that my mom would listen to it because we do this one. We've done this one twice now together. This is the second time. Yeah. But then we also do the Millennial and the Marine podcast together.
Yes.
Which is all our short stories and cinema riddles and all that different stuff. Now our top 5 list, which is fun. But yeah, like I thought that people I knew would be listening to it, and like I think one person at work has listened to it, and maybe and like 2 have watched the YouTube video. Like my mom, I told her about it just because I was like, I'm like, she's always talking about how she's homesick, so I'm like, well, then maybe this will help. She can listen to it or watch it and follow along at home. About just how fat I can actually get.
But she hasn't listened to it?
I don't know. I don't know if she has. I figured she would tell me, like, hey, by the way, I listened to your podcast. And,
yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Or even like, hey, like I told her, I was like, don't tell Grandma about this because I use all the words that she tells me make me sound unintelligent.
Yeah, okay.
She's like, that makes you sound unintelligent. I'm like, yeah, but like, fuck's the most versatile word that exists. So like,
I know I got some feedback on that. People say I say fuck a lot.
You do say fuck a lot, but I mean, I cuss all the fucking.
But I've had mixed reviews on that one also. People say they like it because it's natural and that's just how people converse.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna stop cussing.
But other people are like, nah, you say it a lot, and I'm like.
Yeah,
but that's.
I remember my grandma.
Rated art for a reason, I guess. I don't know, but I was gonna say I don't want to forget. My mom hasn't listened to our shit either.
Really?
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
So I was trying to figure out like who's listening to our shit, Yeah. And so I asked my mom. I was like, "Hey, you listen to the podcast?" She's like, "No." She felt like it kind of sounded like she felt bad, but it's like she's like, I just don't have time.
Well, it's funny.
I listen to 3 hours of that shit, and I don't blame her. Like,
yeah, it's some of them are really long.
I get it, but at the same time, I assumed my mom was one of my downloads on every episode. So
right, so the fact that you have all these other downloads, you're like, who the fuck is this? Who's listening? Who's listening to our podcast? Yeah. It's both of them. Who the fuck? Who is it?
I don't know.
I want to know.
I would love to know, but I'm glad. We don't have to know. That's kind of the beauty of it.
I think Ashley, Ashley's my wife. I think she's only listened to like 1. But in all fairness, that's actually my fault. I got her hooked on a book series, like on audiobooks, and so she's like, "No, fuck you, I'm gonna listen to this book." But yeah.
I told you we had like 2 downloads in Canada, and now I've got 6 downloads in Sweden, and a couple downloads in like the UK.
Who, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Do you know anybody in Canada?
No, I imagine people are just stumbling on it on the internet and listening to it, which I think is really cool.
No, that's pretty fantastic. It's just, that's some random shit right there.
Yeah, and that to me either means they downloaded a bunch of episodes.
I hope the UK person or people do not listen to Mosquito Motel 1 and be like, "Oh my god, you have the worst fucking British accent ever."
Oh, dude, no, I want feedback like that. I'd like to know if it's on par or not.
Yeah, because I tried to make that one proper British, not Cockney British.
Because if you do a good British, like.
Yeah,
I'd like to know. I'd like someone to hit us up.
Yeah,
I do know one person in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Speaking of, so it is possible that she listened to my podcast because they posted on Facebook.
Yeah, but then she made 5 other people listen to it, and that's pretty cool.
Or she just downloaded, 5 episodes or 6.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, well, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to start this 10th. I kind of feel like number 10 is my milestone podcast. And
it makes this more real.
Yeah, we're going into double digits here.
Yeah,
and I like that. And
I was here for the first one. Now I get to be here for the next milestone.
And you will be back for 50 and 100.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait to hit 50 and be like, damn, do you remember when we were doing 10 and we were talking about doing number 50?
Right. And we'll be like, it seems so far away, and here we are. Now I kind of want to be here for 25 and 75 too. Like I'll be here for the quarters.
That'd be cool. We could do that.
All right. It's not like I'm going anywhere. I mean, you live.
No, you'll definitely be in here. I just got to know that ahead of time so I don't do those.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be 25, 50, 75, 100. Like I'll be the quarters.
I'm cool with that. Okay. I like that. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying they enjoy listening to like our opinions, and a couple of people have said they enjoy listening to this because they haven't seen me in a long time. And it makes them feel like they're hanging out with me.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I didn't really.
That's like the most natural. Like that means that you do feel natural because it feels like somebody's just sitting down and chatting with you.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't really expect people to get that vibe, but like, one of my buddies on Facebook said he was listening to this, while he was driving to California.
Yeah,
and I just thought that was so cool. Like, I guess.
Somebody can take your voice on a road trip.
Yeah, going into this, I didn't really expect where it was going to go, and it's only been a month, and I'm really pleased with the support. And
has it only been a month?
Yeah, I mean, I did the first episode the day before the Super Bowl with you.
Oh, that's right.
So it was February 2nd or something.
Oh shit!
So yeah,
it really
has
only
been
been a month.
40 days or so.
That's so weird. It feels like we've been doing this for kind of a long time now.
Yeah, and it's cool, but it's like,
yeah,
like I like that. I can't wait for a year from now to be like, holy fuck, we've been doing podcasts for a year now.
Right? I'm glad that we get to celebrate that on Groundhog Day. That's the most important part.
Oh, we did February the first 2nd. Podcast on Groundhog Day.
Yep. So every Groundhog Day we get to celebrate this.
Holy
so
shit.
One more reason for me to love Groundhog Day.
That is very cool. And it'll be right around the Super Bowl. I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I know. Dude, it's just like, yeah, I wanted to talk about some things on this podcast, just like, of what's gone on for me for the last month, I guess. Like, I feel like for making this podcast for me was like a big deal for kind of breaking out of my shitty day-to-day routine of being unhappy in my day job.
And that makes sense because I don't know many people that are happy in their day job. Yeah. So it's nice you took the step towards happiness.
Yeah, and I want people to like understand that when I say I'm not happy in my day job, it's not that like I'm depressed and I like hate my life every day.
No.
It's just that it's not fulfilling some part of my human needs that like some part of me is not being fulfilled by my job.
Exactly.
And that's why I created this podcast to kind of fill that gap and give my life a little more, I don't know, direction outside of work and a little more fun and creativity and kind of get back to why I wanted to go to college and why I wanted to make movies. And it's just kind of, it's given me a lot more energy in the last month, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Yeah. Because you have more purpose. Anybody that has a more purpose-driven existence will be happier than those that don't.
I can honestly say I'm happier.
I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the way it would go. Like, I mean, you have a reason to do certain things now. Like, I don't know. It's just, I always wanted to to write and everything and have that go out to people, like with the novel and everything. Like, that's always what I wanted to do. I just wanted to write these stories and have people listen to them. And so it's with our podcast, we can actually do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's I don't know, it's just kind of cool. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, these have been a lot of fun. Like,
yeah,
I actually
really
look forward
cool
to coming over and doing all these because Jeremy and I, we actually normally do like 4 or 5 different podcasts all in the same day because.
Yes, this is number 4 for the day.
Yeah, this is actually our 4th one for today.
Yeah.
So it's we do a bunch of these in a row and then kind of post them as we go kind of thing because we both lead such, you know, we have crazy shit happening all the other times that we can only get together so often.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's it's been really nice like reconnecting with you on the creativity side of things too.
Yes.
I feel like the last year and a half, 2 years even, it's just been very strenuous on our relationship being writing partners. Just the fact that you moved to Phoenix, I stayed in Flag. We struggled writing that way. We wrote over the phone a lot. We downloaded a program to share screens and shit like that. It worked for a little bit, but even just the timing of our schedules.
Yeah.
And it's just that John and I started writing in college. So our schedules were a lot different in college, obviously. And now they're just, you know, we're on the 9 to 5 track and we live 45 minutes away from each other. So I used to go over to his house all the time in college, like every night basically. And we would just spend 2 hours together. Even if we weren't writing, we would be discussing writing.
Yep.
Watching a movie that was going to help us write.
Right. And that's why we have like, I think it's like 5 screenplays together.
No, I think it's more than that.
Is it? Well, no, I mean, we each have ones that we kind of did separately, like you did Grandpa's Cabin.
I think it's more than that, though.
Well, we got Second Chance and Tuition Assistance. And Letters. And then Reunions. Oh, my God, I forgot all about that one.
Reunions, The Real 100 Acres.
Oh, yeah.
The Real 100 Acres, the other 3 versions we wrote.
Right.
So, I mean, I count that as like 3 or 4 full movies.
That's fair because those ones, basically, we wrote a version of The Real 100 Acres that was very much so like...
Let's just talk about it. Just fucking tell them exactly what it is.
Okay, so our version of The Real 100 Acres was very much so like a Identity meets The Cell kind of thing. So what it was...
Those are 2 movies.
Yeah, sorry. And yeah, I referenced the J-Lo movie, so just, you know, deal with that. So
Nothing
anyway,
wrong with that?
There's a lot wrong with that. But anyway, point is that basically what it was is Christopher Robbins was a serial killer, but he didn't know it because he had multiple personality disorder, and one of the personalities was killing people. But the problem is that it was actually most of the personalities would come out and kill at different times, so nobody could figure out who it was. He ends up getting caught in the act and picked up by the cops, and they decide to give him like this experimental treatment to get him to acknowledge his multiple personalities so they can find out which one is basically responsible for the murders. And so they give him this drug. He wakes up in his jail cell and there's a doorway. And when he opens the doorway, it goes into the 100 Acre Wood. And he meets all the different personalities.
Yes.
And basically all the personalities, with the exception of Rue, all the personalities were created to deal with his own psychological issues. So when he was... Winnie, he created in his own mind to deal with his overeating and his like egotistical side.
Yeah, but it's fucked up. I mean, this is a dark,
it's really
twisted, fucked up movie.
It's extremely horror.
It was one of the most entertaining things I think we ever did together because for me, it really pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Right. Before this, Jeremy didn't do a lot with horror, didn't watch a lot of horror, and
but I'm gonna argue I wrote one of the best scenes in the script with the Christmas murder scene.
Yes. Basically, you come to find out that that Rue is actually the first personality, and that's why he appears as a small boy.
Yeah.
Rue is actually the first personality that was created, and it was because Christopher Robin actually saw his father kill his mother at Christmas, and Rue was created to deal with that.
And Rue's an incarnation of his 10-year-old personality.
Exactly. And so it's kind of fucking brilliant. And basically, I also...
and the scene is Rue murders someone and then goes into their attic and finds their Christmas decorations and then decorates their house to look like Christmas and strings their body parts throughout the ornaments. So
yep.
There's lights going through the intestines and then decorating the house with like a glow.
Yeah.
There's like a head hanging upside down.
Yeah, I think it's or it was the star on the tree or something like that. It was the upside down head.
I think that might be it. Yeah. And
it got pretty bad. It's pretty gory.
Yeah.
And one of the things...
I'm really happy with that.
I loved it.
If we could do... you know how a lot of movies shoot one scene to get funding?
Yeah.
If we could do that scene, that would be the scene I want to shoot for.
That makes sense.
Please fund this script.
No, I would watch the shit out of that movie. But it's funny. My favorite part about writing the screenplay is that I actually went through and did a bunch of research on all the top 10 fears that Americans have, and we actually found a way to weave all 10 of those fears throughout the screenplay so that even if you don't realize it, like watching the movie, you would be uncomfortable at some point based on the things that we chose to pick.
And so that's tying into John studied psychology in school.
Right. I guess I had to use that somehow, right?
The theory is that every person is afraid of one of these 10 things on some kind of subconscious level. Like it's a human instinct we all have.
It was like cockroaches, spiders, the dark, closed in spaces, buried alive.
Basically, it's like almost the entire population of the planet has one of these fears.
Yep. There's drowning. There's heights. We deal with, like, literally we wrote all of them throughout the story. We wove them into different areas. And one of the worst ones is actually Winnie.
Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it?
No, don't ruin it.
Okay, because we're going to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I won't read it. But anyway, the end is real fucked up. I actually remember writing the scene and Jeremy looking at me and going, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just this is what happened.
That's just what happened.
This is just what happened." And
so
he's
part
like,
of writing,
"Fuck."
I really like talking about that shit. Part of writing is people don't understand, like, writers are like a unique beast, and they don't get like a lot of credit in Hollywood for what they do, but like good movies can't be made with shitty scripts.
No.
And part of writing is kind of developing your story so much that you can dive into it and kind of let it unfold
for you.
And it's kind of like, it's this weird thing that like you can't really explain to someone unless they've written something themselves. And it's kind of just like you start getting in that mode and the story just hits the paper, and then you might half an hour later read what you wrote and you're like, holy shit, I didn't fucking think that was going to happen.
Or you have an ending idea in your mind and you realize like halfway through you're like, oh, it's not going to end that way. I have no idea how it's going to end. And as you write it, you kind of figure it out and you're like, oh shit, that's a way better ending.
Yeah.
Like that's with when I wrote Miaz, I remember
or you realize something about your character.
Oh yeah.
That you're like, holy shit, that's why they act that way, because they were abused as a child.
Yeah.
And you're like,
right? Well,
sorry, what about Miaz?
When I wrote Miaz, I came home like from work because I worked at a gas station, so shout out to the Chevron on Lake Mary Road.
Chevron on Lake Mary,
right? Because that gas station was the shit. But
we should talk about that gas station. We will. Let's fucking go back to that.
I actually I worked there for 3 years doing a graveyard shift while I was going to school. Okay. While I was going to school for 3 years, I worked there, and I would write at night because it's a graveyard shift, and it was in Flagstaff. And like, let's be fair, there's like 6 people that came in. But when I was writing there, it's actually where I wrote pretty much all of my novel was there on that. And towards the end, I actually remember coming home with a sticky note, and my wife Ashley found it, and she was like, "Who the hell's Joey Tucci?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And she's like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I was like, "Well, there was I think that it's the last chapter of Waz." And she's like, "Don't you have like another 100 pages or so?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know. I just know that the last chapter is going to start with Joey Tucci was a fat bastard."
Yeah.
And she was like, but you don't know what that means? I was like, "Oh no, I have no idea what that means. I just know that that's how the very last chapter ends." And she's like, "That's so strange." And I was like, I'm just telling you that's how it starts. I'm like, I don't know why. I'll figure it out once I get there. But
like to someone like me, like you saying that, I'm like, oh no, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and we do it with little stuff too. Like, so I wrote a true story about me going to boot camp.
Yeah.
And Jeremy was like, "Who would you pick to be your grandfather?" And I was like, "Oh, John Goodman." And I had never thought about it at all. Not even kind of. It's just when he asked the question, I just knew who I would pick, and I was like, "Oh shit, I would totally pick John Goodman to be my grandfather."
Yes, and that is like this weird, like unique thing too. Of it's like things like that just pop into your head, and you know it's right, and you know it has to be that way, and you can't change your mind about it. And part of writing is so weird for me because like I still get ideas. Like I just texted you while I was on the treadmill on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And figured out how to fix a script that I wrote 8 years ago.
Yes.
Or 8 years ago? Yeah, about 2000. 2011, 2012, yeah, 6 years ago. But yeah, it's just I was just stone running on the treadmill. And when I run on the treadmill, I try to blank out as much as possible.
Right. Well, everybody does. Or should.
And sometimes, like, they have the TVs on them, you know, and I'll just shut it off and I'll stare at myself.
Yeah.
While I'm running.
That's kind of creepy, but go ahead.
No, like it's just looking at my own eyes, like in the reflection, just kind of lets me zone out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I hear what you're saying. But it sounds weird. Well, it just sounds like sort of creepy in its own way. Like you're like, oh, I'll just stare at my reflection and see what that guy has to think. Like it's just, I don't know, it's a little odd. That's all I'm saying.
It works for me though.
I'm not saying it doesn't, and it makes sense. It's just also a little.
It lets me just kind of, I don't know.
No, it's just a zone out
while my legs are moving.
I get it. Like, yeah, I've had some ideas from some strange ass places. I was in advanced cognitive and behavioral neuroscience. And the teacher was just rambling on, and I was in my own little world. And all I caught was he was like, if you got to figure, like, I mean, what doesn't our brain let us see? And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. And then later that night, it was like 1 a.m. and I was outside like doing at work. And I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and when you look, it's gone, Yeah. And then instantly, like, I had a story idea.
Yeah.
Like, it was the most random shit in the world, but I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah, a lot of them come from nightmares, too.
Oh, yeah, nightmares are a big one. I actually don't dream a lot. I don't know why. I might. Yeah, it's probably because I smoke a lot.
Yeah.
But I might dream. I just don't remember them. I think that's probably the argument. I think everyone dreams.
Right.
But you remember yours.
I do.
Like extremely vividly and intensely.
Yeah. I wish
it helps a lot.
I wish I didn't.
For writing.
They're rough.
Yeah.
They're real bad.
I really like discussing. You're the only person I know that's a writer. I think. No, that's not true. My buddy Nick Kraft, who helped with the website, is also a writer.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
there you go.
He got a master's degree in it.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Nice.
Anyways, but I like discussing like the different, like kind of, I don't know, methods, like tactics, art forms, or whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah.
To the process. I think that's pretty interesting.
Well, it's like Mike, my buddy Mike. He writes, and when he writes, he has to have like almost the whole story mapped out, and then he has to like lock himself away from everybody for like 4 hours to write it. Like he can't be anywhere near anybody. They can't talk to him. Nothing.
Right.
Whereas I wrote the novel sitting at the gas station. People come in and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm writing a novel. They're like, "Okay," and they just buy their beer and then they leave. And then once I was able to actually print the novel and have it on the counter, they're like, "Oh, you were serious? I thought that was just something people like fucking said." I was like, "No, I wrote a fucking novel." And they're like, "Holy shit!" Like, it was weird. It was a weird experience too. Like,
Yeah.
the first time somebody was like, "Hey, will you sign this?" I was like, "What?" They're like, "Your novel." I'm like, "Why?"
Oh, I asked you to sign my copy, and you thought it was weird.
Because it's fucking strange.
Yeah.
Like it's very strange. The first time somebody asked me to sign it, I was
you know
just
I'm
confused
selling
as
that
shit.
first edition copy on eBay when we get rich.
Right? Because it's not even edited well. So then there'll be like a first edition that's edited
I'm just
correctly.
kidding. Why, if I was rich, why would I need to sell it on eBay?
No, I'm just saying. Like, no, if I ended up like super rich, I expect all these people to sell that shit.
No, that would be cool, man. They knew you when, you know.
Right? It'll never happen. But I
Right.
mean, it's a nice pipe dream.
But you brought up the gas station again. I want to get back to
let's
that.
talk about the gas station.
The gas station in Flagstaff is a magical place.
It is.
For,
now, only one of them. We're only talking about the Chevron that's on Lake Mary.
Yes.
It's a wonderful place.
For John, it was his job. All the way through college in Flag?
Yep. That's the only place I worked in Flag.
That's the only place you worked in Flag.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when I met John, he worked there, and you worked the graveyard shift.
Yep.
And it became the place for me that I would just go to when I was bored
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't sleep or whatever.
You weren't the only one.
And I know.
Yeah.
And I showed up many, many times. I remember I showed up after a very bad experience.
Oh my.
We don't have to share what the experience was.
I remember this though. Yeah.
I showed up after a very bad experience at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And I just hung out with you for like an hour until I felt better, basically.
Exactly.
And then I just went home.
No,
And,
I had a lot of people that would come in, stay for like an hour, just chatting and stuff.
yeah, buy snacks, nachos, and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that gas station has the best gas station assortment of food.
Yes, and that actually caused me to. I would have a lot of fucking stoners come in, and
Yeah.
they would just stand in the store and stare at stuff for like a really long time, which not all of them. Some can focus and some can be functional, but others just stare. So I invented the gas station food groups.
Oh, this is magical.
So you have to have a liquid, okay? The liquid is a food group. It doesn't matter if it's
Beverage.
like the
Don't say liquid. You got to say beverage.
okay, fine, a beverage. But you like it doesn't matter if it's lemonade, iced tea, beer, whatever. But you need a beverage.
A beverage.
Yes.
It could be
So-
free water.
Okay, and then you have your fruit group. Okay, now this is not fucking apples and bananas and shit. This is you need like Skittles, Starburst, Airheads or Airhead Bites.
Something that's fruity.
You need a fruit, okay, from the fruit group.
Yes.
Okay, and then you need a chocolate.
Yes.
If you need that explained, we have other issues entirely. And then you have your savory. Your savory is the final of the food groups, and that's like if you need a chip or you want some nachos or something like that, or you need a hot dog, whatever. But that extra bit is the savory. So you have beverage, chocolate, fruit group, and then a savory, and those are your gas station food groups.
Yes, and I will for one say I abided by these food groups for many a gas station trip, and I will stand by this for all stoners out there that it is a system that you cannot find a flaw in.
Well, it's so funny because I would have people come up to the counter and they'd set stuff there, and they'd be like, "Okay, which one am I missing?"
Yep.
And I'm like, "Oh, you don't have a savory."
I do
and
that
they're
all
like,
the time.
"Oh, I totally wanted some Doritos and I fucking forgot." So they go get Doritos and
Yeah.
they come up, and I'm like, "That's a savory. There you go." Or they'd be like,
Yeah.
What's the? I got chocolate. I got a beverage. I got savory. What's the other one? I'm like, oh, fruit group. You need to go get yourself some now and laters. And they're like, oh my god, do you have the old flavors of the now and later? And they just freak out, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is the dumbest thing ever. But like,
I still know,
so many people abided by those food groups,
and
it was
I still know
hilarious.
mine. My go-to was Calypso, blueberry Calypso for the beverage.
Yes,
It was For savory, it was usually a chip. It was either like Ruffles, queso flavor,
or it was the
Doritos.
the Pringles,
the little
barbecue,
cups of Pringles.
yeah, the barbecue Pringles in the little can,
or the Snyder's pretzel bites that I liked.
Oh yeah, those are good too.
And then for chocolate, I would either get peanut M&Ms or like a Reese's cup.
Yep.
And then for a fruit, I would always go with a Skittles or what was that other little candy that I always bought? The little fruity candies that I like. I can't remember.
They didn't have Airhead Bites at the time, so I know it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't Starbursts.
What's the Japanese one? Was it those ones?
No, was it like Sweet Tarts?
The high chews?
Sweet Tarts.
Yep, the roll of Sweet Tarts. Yeah, that's what it was.
That was my jam.
Are we really reminiscing about snack foods?
No, fuck yeah. This is episode 10, man. We gotta cover the bases here.
That's true. So when I worked at this gas station, I got a lot of good ideas. I actually, at one point, I thought about writing a book based on the interactions that I had with people in that gas station, because Graveyard's very special. And I was going to call it the Inconvenient Convenience Store Stories.
I remember us talking about this. Yeah.
Well, it's because there were a number of times where I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? I remember some dude coming in. He's like, I'm not paying $20 for a gas can. Where's the one you keep for customers? And I was like, we don't have one for customers. He's like, you have one for customers. And we totally did, but fuck him. He's being an asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't have one for customers. He's like, yeah, you fucking do. So just give me that one. I was like, oh, we definitely don't. And he's like, so what do I do? I'm like, buy one of those gas cans.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm not doing that. Where's the one for customers? I was like, look, even if I wanted to help you, I was like, you have a pretty shitty attitude. Because this is Graveyard and I cussed all the time and I didn't care.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Your owner also didn't care.
No, well, the first owner kind of cared. The second one, he was far more chill, and he's a real good guy. His name's Mark. He was awesome, and he kind of understood that that's just how I was. So, but anyway, so I told this dude, I was like, you're having a really shitty attitude, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Can I please have the gas can that's for customers? And I was like, well, although you were extremely condescending, I was like, that was far better. But since I don't have the ability to conjure things out of thin fucking air, then no, you can't have the gas can that doesn't fucking exist. Yeah. Like, get out of my store.
Those motherfuckers.
So, yeah, but I had all kinds of like crazy people that would come in, and like then I had a lot of people that I actually
used to meet them.
Became like good friends with.
I remember meeting them, and I'd be like, what's up, man? And you're like, oh, this is that guy I was telling you about. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, what's up, dude? Like,
yep.
Oh, I've heard about you. And they're like, oh, I've heard about you too.
Right, exactly. No, and it's funny. I met a lot of people
like
that
guy
I still.
David.
Yeah, David was awesome.
Yeah.
I still talk to David. I think
I saw him comment on one of the podcast posts.
Yeah, he's like most of them, so he's probably one of our listeners.
Thank you, man, for listening.
He's awesome. And then I met quite a few people that I still talk to up there, and it's crazy. They'd all come in the middle of the night, just chatted up about the stories and stuff. And there's this dude, Ian. He'd come in every night and be like, okay, so what did you write tonight? So I'd tell him about the previous chapter, and he's like, oh, where's it going? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I remember in Miaz, there's a part where they get to a wall, and he was like, what's on the other side of the wall? I was like, I don't know, but I think it's kind of like Nuketown. And he's like, what? I'm like, I don't know.
That's cool, though, because it helps having those people to, like...
Yeah, to, like, talk to you about it. Because a lot of times I didn't know what was happening in the story until I said it out loud, and I was like, oh, my God, that's totally what's going to happen.
Yeah, it really helps to... Mm-hmm. To any writer out there, it really helps to read your story out loud to someone or to have them read it to you. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah, hearing
it's
it
really
out loud,
difficult to get someone to do that.
It is.
But...
especially if you're just
read
starting
your script to you, and you can like hear your inaccuracies or where they stumble.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit, I didn't explain that well enough, or oh fuck, that dialogue does suck. Or
yeah,
like, you know,
where you're like, oh, that doesn't flow at all.
Yeah, and some of that shit is really hard to do without someone like that to just be like, hey man, what do you write?
Well, it's like I wrote the whole character Teacup in Tuition Assistance. He speaks Cockney slang. Until we read it out loud, I didn't realize how many I'd gotten wrong.
Okay.
And had to go back through and like alter the Cockney
That's
slang
so
so that
fair.
it was perfect.
Dialogue is so rough until you read it.
Oh yeah, and once you read it, you're like, oh, that's much better. And then there's certain ones that we've written that have like very specific accents, and literally, if you do not read it in an accent, then it sounds fucking stupid. But as long as you use the accent, then you're like, oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I know. I feel like writing. One thing that I realized really quickly is that I don't know how to write children properly.
Oh, that's fair.
Just I wrote one story with like children in it, and my teacher is just like I don't remember who it was. It might have been Paul. No, I don't think it was Paul because Paul never gave like this good of advice. They were like, you should go and try to volunteer in like a second grade classroom.
Yeah.
And like observe children.
You know what's funny about that?
Were you the one who gave me that advice?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay.
And it was me because I actually took.
That's so fucking funny.
I took daycare instruction.
So you
when I was in high
advice.
school. Yep. And I actually used to, despite how many times I say fuck. Okay, I actually used to. I took a daycare instruction class twice, actually, so I could go and hang out with these kids at a daycare and for like school credit.
Yeah.
And I actually used to help teach Sunday school.
Yeah. I know you did. You fucking weirdo.
So, and now I'm like the polar opposite of that guy. But either way, it helps because then you actually get to know kids and stuff. Because I don't particularly care for most kids. Like, I have a niece and a couple nephews, and they're cool. But like outside of that, like we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not gonna like go hang out just to like find. No, it's fucking kids. They're the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just recently got a puppy, and that's as close to a kid as I'm ever gonna have, and that's already a pain in the ass. So
I understand. Puppies are a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, dude.
But yeah, writing children, in other words, is actually very difficult because
It's
you
so
always want them to
difficult.
talk more
As adults.
more adult-like than they're actually going to talk because that's
Their word choice and their train of thought is really hard to write as an adult without being around children.
right. And well, one of the biggest problems with that is actually what Hollywood has led us to believe that children talk like.
Because they don't talk like they do in movies because
Right.
adults write shitty children.
Yeah, like the closest is probably that little Lipnicky kid in fucking Jerry Maguire, where he's just saying out random shit that he's learned. That made sense. But then you get other kids that like speak like they're fucking 37.
Kindergarten Cop, that one's good.
Yeah, that one's
Boys
not bad.
have a penis and girls have a vagina. He just stands
Right.
up and says that.
Yep. See, Kindergarten Cop was pretty close. I mean, like, but there's some that get it right, but then there's other ones where you're like, what is this kid, 47?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
You're like,
no.
why is this child more grown up than the adults are?
Like, there's a lot to get it right. Like, Stranger Things. Like, those kids are the shit. They're legit. They're awesome. But, like, then there's, like,
the
other ones that are...
Stranger Things, the writing and directing in that show and the character development and the child actors that they picked is just so on point.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous.
It's not going to be...
That show is just...
It's not going to be outdone, in my opinion. There will never be another 80s
right.
era, anything, movie, anything that gets it right like that.
Yeah. And it's like so spot on and shit. It's just, it's ridiculous.
It's great.
Yeah.
The whole thing's great. I fucking love Stranger Things. If you haven't seen that, watch it.
Yes.
Seriously, it's not that scary. It is kind of scary.
No,
but
it has
it's
some
not
scary moments, but
that scary.
that's not really what it's about. It's
It's like-
about the relationship of these kids with like their bonds as the greatest friends ever, and then
Yeah,
having
it's
a new
whimsical,
person in there.
dark
Yeah,
sitcom, kind of.
it's not a sitcom, but sure, it's more dramatic than it is.
to sell it to people like that.
Oh, I'd say whimsical and dark, but I would
Sitcom's
say
definitely the wrong word.
I would say
It's not a situational comedy. I'm sorry.
well, see, I would say thriller just because it has very thrilling moments and has a lot of suspense. But
Thriller for
I
sure.
wouldn't. I definitely would not consider it horror by any means.
You wouldn't?
No. So I said even the fucking Demigorgon. Like I mean, it's it's scary. It has its scary moments, but
it's not like.
But I would still put everything in more of a thriller category than I would horror.
Just I guess it's hard to define thriller and horror.
Yes,
in that sense, because horror does usually have more like gruesome stuff, and it is kind of more scary.
Right. That's the thing is
jump scenes and loud.
Right. Like with horror,
cuts.
I expect that most of my fear would come from how uncomfortable it makes me.
Yeah.
You know, like is like Human Centipede. That's horror. Because it goes too far. It goes too far. Well, the second one went way too far.
That's one of those movies I'm not going to watch because I read about it and I get it. I don't need to see it.
No, you don't need to see it. I watched all three of them, and what's really fucked up out of all of it is that the third one he clearly meant to be funny.
That's stupid as fuck.
And makes it like it's hard to fucking watch because it's not fucking funny.
It bothers me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know what about this situation you would find hilarity in, but like.
So this leads me to like another thing I like to tell people about movies is that like in America we have like this over fascination with horror and like dissecting people's bodies and stuff.
Okay.
And that's why it's okay to like make movies like Human Centipede because it doesn't cross like those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
In America,
I don't know, but you cross a lot of boundaries.
But a lot of those films can't get made in other countries because they have restrictions on like human torture and stuff.
Yeah,
but they're more lenient on like sex and like body parts and nudity than we are, and it's kind of like this weird. It's like this weird difference in our cultures.
Yeah,
and like people don't really notice it because we don't watch a lot of European films.
Yeah,
but like European films would never allow Hollywood films to get made over there. Like it's just
no, a number of them wouldn't. Like I mean, it's
like like Saw and Hostel. And,
Hostel's banned in I don't even know how many countries.
Yeah, and
Mike and I watched a movie called Freak Show one time.
Okay,
and it said it was banned in like 21 countries. So we were like, oh well, obviously this is something we should watch. So we watched it, and it's an hour and 25 minutes. And we were an hour and 20 minutes into it, and I'm like, what the fuck was this banned for? Like, I don't fucking get it. I was like, there's nothing in the last 5 minutes of this movie that's going to make me feel like it should be banned. And
you were wrong?
I don't know. We both said that. We both said the same thing. There's nothing in the last 5 minutes. And I don't know. I've known Mike for almost 20 years, and I don't think that we have ever been more wrong at any point in that time frame. And I've said a lot of wrong shit. I've never been more wrong than when I said there's nothing in the last 5 minutes that makes me think that this should be banned.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Like, to the point that when it was over, he actually had like a electronic blood pressure machine. And we took our fucking blood pressures and shit because we were like traumatized. And we had to like know just how traumatized we were if this shit was going to be permanent. And that was allowed here, but banned in 21 countries.
Is it weird that you like telling me that just like makes me have a little anxiety?
No, it makes, because you know how much I've been watching horror movies since I was 7.
No, and I guess that's more what I mean. It's you telling me that gives me anxiety.
Right.
Not someone else telling me that. You specifically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I've been watching horror movies since I was 7, and we just weren't ready.
That brings me to another thing that I don't think we got to talk about. What's your issue with the pig fucker episode on Black Mirror?
Oh, I just stopped. It was boring.
Because that's something that I was really surprised that you said you stopped, because a lot of people online said they can't finish that episode.
Yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. The other ones are intriguing to me.
Yeah,
that seemed more humiliating than it was intriguing. Yeah. So I didn't feel the need to watch the rest of that.
Can I sum up that episode for you though? Like the message.
He fucks a pig, and then
do you know like the message behind it though?
I don't know the message, but
yeah, because so that's why I like Black Mirror. Mm-hmm. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's a series on Netflix. I definitely talk about it a lot. It's just a really interesting take on technology and how it's ruining our lives.
Yeah.
And not really ruining our lives, but kind of like interesting takes on where it could go in the future.
Uh-huh.
And so this one is it's the very first episode. Probably just don't listen to this part of the podcast if you want to watch it, and I'm going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But it's I call it the pig fucker episode because it's the British Prime Minister. He gets blackmailed. Mm-hmm. Someone kidnapped the Queen, or the Queen's daughter, the princess, and they are going to kill her if he doesn't fuck a pig on live TV. So that's the premise, and I don't really ruin the episode by saying that because that's literally the first
purpose.
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
of
the purpose of the episode. But
I'm gonna ruin it right here. The very end. So they send a finger with the ring, the princess's ring, to him, saying that the princess's finger has been cut off with her, big ass royal ring on it.
Yeah.
And one of the instructions in the episode is that they can't attempt to fake it. And the prime minister, they can't, he has to do it live and he has to fuck a pig. They can't fake it with digital fakery. And the British Prime Minister gives his staff specific instructions to not fucking do that.
Okay.
They're not gonna fucking disobey any of the rules.
Right.
So his chief of staff goes behind his back and hires a company to try to fake it.
Okay.
That leaks out to the media, and the public turns on him. Everyone is the polls live or whatever. It's everyone agrees he doesn't have to fuck a pig. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it comes out that they're disobeying and that the finger got cut off of the princess because they're disobeying, the public hates him.
Okay.
And he has to fuck the pig because he got an innocent woman's finger chopped off.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it's this interesting, weird take. Before they didn't care that she was going to get killed because fucking the pig was a bigger deal.
Right.
But as soon as it got serious,
then they're
and the prime minister wasn't taking it seriously,
okay,
they got pissed and turned on him.
That's so weird.
Right? And then he fucks the pig, and it turns out
she wasn't kidnapped at all, right?
She was kidnapped. He let her go before he ever fucked the pig.
Okay.
She was found wandering down a street. Everyone was so obsessed with what he was doing, no one was in public paying attention to the princess running down the street.
Interesting.
Right? In public, wherever the fuck she is, in London or whatever. And it wasn't her finger. It was the kidnapper's finger. He cut off his own finger. And he killed himself. All before it ever happened. So the guy didn't even wait to find out if the guy fucked the pig or not.
That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty special.
So it was just a whole thing on how society perception can force influence.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
No, I understood why it was.
And then it ends with his image is saved. The public loves him. He saved the princess, and his life is ruined because his wife can't stand him anymore.
Yeah, because he fucked a pig.
But being the prime minister, he can't divorce his wife. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fucked up.
For you could, but it's like the president getting divorced while he's in the White House. It would never really happen.
Okay.
It's so bad for your public image.
Yeah.
So they keep things up in the public. Then when they get home, she hates him.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I'd hate a pig fucker.
Yeah. So it's just this interesting take on how perception, the knowledge you're shared, false facts can sway public influence.
Okay.
I just thought it was a really good message for how fake news and the words fake news and shit are getting thrown around, and the Russia scandal and the election and all that. It's it's a weird correlation to what's happening already.
It makes sense. Yeah. I just I got 20 minutes into it and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. I think I could go off on tangents for hours about how cool Black Mirror is.
Yeah, Black Mirror is pretty awesome. I haven't watched them all yet. I still
you watched a Star Trek episode yet?
No, I saw half of it, but I haven't had a chance to finish it yet because it turns out that because I have a puppy now, that I can't actually watch anything that I haven't already seen 30,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched Die Hard 2 and Die Hard with a Vengeance on Thursday, and then yesterday I watched Lethal Weapon 1 through 3.
The puppy thing will change, man. They get older and they settle down. But
what's nice is he'll actually sit down and watch the TV, which is super weird, but it's kind of awesome.
Crypto does that.
Does he? Yeah. That's badass.
Are you guys gonna crate train him?
Yeah, we have been. Yeah.
Cool.
So, but yeah, he's awesome. He's just pain in the ass. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally understand. They take all your free time. You can't. They're like a little kid. You can't stop watching them because they get silent and then they're chewing on something.
Yeah, and you know they're doing something.
Or they're peeing on something.
Right.
Or they're like throwing up somewhere. Or they're shitting on something. And
right.
You're like, what the fuck?
Like we've been trying to watch, like finish off a couple TV shows, and we've watched like one episode in a week.
Yep. That sounds accurate.
But we've watched like reruns of Top Chef like 4,000 times.
Top Chef?
Yeah, Top Chef.
Who's your favorite Top Chef?
Like of all time?
Like the Top Chefs. Like which one's your favorite? The guy or the girl?
Yeah. Probably Blaze.
Okay.
Richard Blaze.
Mine's one of the newer ones. Jeffrey Zakarian.
I don't know. I haven't seen that episode yet.
He's just one of the guys who like he became a Top Chef, like, you know.
Oh, like he won one of the seasons?
Yeah, like a couple years back. He's not like one of those guys who's always been on it.
Oh, okay. No. Richard Blaze, he won. Like, so he was on season 4, which was the Chicago season.
Oh, okay.
And so he was on season 4. And
Iron Chef. We're talking about
you're
Iron Chef. We're saying Top Chef?
No, I'm talking about Top Chef.
I'm talking about Iron Chef.
Well, I'm not talking about Iron Chef.
Oh, that's my B.
Yeah.
This guy.
No, Top Chef, we're going Morimoto because he scares the fuck out of me. But
do you know who this guy is?
Yeah, I know who Jeffrey Zakarian is because he's always a judge on fucking Chopped.
On Iron Chef. Yeah. He was on Chopped for a long time, and then winning Iron Chef for him was like a really big deal.
Yeah, and no, I'm talking about the show Top Chef with Padma and Tom Colicchio.
I don't watch that one.
Okay, so sorry. You should watch this shit. It's on Hulu. But
I like Hulu.
On season 4, Richard Blaze lost, and so he got to come back in the All Stars one, which I think is season 8. Yeah, and he ended up winning the All Stars version of Top Chef because Blaze is kind of the shit. But I was actually sad. Like the finale of the season 8 was Blaze versus Mike Isabella. And Isabella totally could have won too. Like I would have been okay with either one of them winning. Like I love Blaze, but like Isabella, like when he showed up in his season, which was season 6, he was like just what's the word for when you hate women? Like
a misogynist?
Yeah. There it is. He was an extreme misogynist. Like he's like the very first episode they show him, he's like, yeah, I mean, like, come on, what's she gonna do that I can't do? Like you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh my god!
But
he's
like
one of those people.
But you see him like evolve through his season onto the like All Stars, and he actually becomes like one of your favorites, like easily. Like he's a dick, but you see him evolve like as a human being and like not be like that, and you're like, oh, this guy's like totally chill. Like this guy's awesome. Like he grows on you.
I don't know about that.
No, trust me. You just got to watch them.
I ain't going to watch all that.
Well, don't watch the first season.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There's way too much TV to watch fucking cooking shows today, in my opinion.
That's not true.
I used to watch Iron Chef all the time.
Oh, no.
Because I watched Chopped and Iron Chef was on. And like, I just, like, dude, like, there's so many shows. I haven't even watched Punisher yet. Like, Jessica Jones is coming out, and then Luke Cage is coming out.
No.
But there's so much shit.
Yeah.
There's so much shit.
So let's clarify right now. I would rather watch Top Chef than ever have to sit through a single episode that has Jessica Jones in it ever fucking again.
Okay.
Like the villains were spectacular in the first season. The villains were fucking wonderful. I didn't give a shit about her at all.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, but I just didn't.
My biggest issue with her character is they need to make her a superhero and stop with the I'm a detective. I don't like using my powers bullshit.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
She just needs to own what she is, and I don't, but
she needs to start like running into buildings like Luke Cage and fucking shit up.
Okay, yeah, but let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about Luke Cage for a second.
Why?
Because Luke Cage does the same thing that pisses me off about the Flash and
What's
about
wrong with
Arrow.
Luke Cage?
Okay, is that I hate that superheroes
Yeah.
all of a sudden mysteriously find a supervillain that has the same fucking powers. Like, that shit gets real old. Like, fight somebody else. Like, they can't all be archers. They can't all be speedsters. They can't all be fucking super strong people with biosuit. Like, fuck you. Like, there are other villains out there that aren't superheroes that are probably fucking worse.
I mean, I for sure get your point, but at the same time, that's how all the comic books are written.
I know. I'm saying branch the fuck out.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you, but it's just like the Flash's top enemy is a Reverse Flash, and it is Zoom, and it is Godspeed.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like, it just seems like it makes it seem too convenient, and it makes me stop paying
attention.
Attention.
It would be like if Superman fought an evil version of Superman in every movie.
Yeah, you'd be like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, him fighting Zod was as close to that as I want to see.
That's what I think they did really well in the Justice League movie, and I know it got a lot of bad reviews.
I actually like the Justice League
What
movie.
they did with Superman, me being a huge Superman fan, they did it so good to what he actually is in the comics. Like, him going evil and fighting the team like that was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And him and Flash running really fast behind him, and him just looking at him with his eyes. Like, the speed stuff they did, the fast motion and the slow motion fight scenes was so fucking cool.
I actually like Justice League a lot. And it's funny, I really like the moments that I know were not in the Snyder version.
Me too.
Yeah, like when Superman asks Batman, he's like, "Do you bleed?" And then he's laying on the ground and he's like, "Definitely bleeding."
Yeah,
definitely bleeding.
Yeah.
You know that was not in the fucking Snyder version.
That was Whedon for sure.
Because that dude has no idea what the fuck light and happiness is.
No, that was Joss Whedon all day.
Mm-hmm. It was either Whedon or they actually just let Affleck be Affleck for a minute. And they were like, "What would you say?" And he's like, "Bleeding, definitely bleeding."
Right?
Like, because Affleck, he's fucking funny. Like.
But, like, another thing they did with Superman, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say it, is he fucking saves the day at the end. Yeah. Because he is the most powerful fucking thing on Earth.
Right.
And the guy is not the villain that they're going to fight. Like, the guy they fought is like the big bad guy's, like, first-hand man.
Right. It's a precursor to the actual battle. Yeah.
So Superman came in and is like, "Oh, is this guy still bothering you guys?" And just whoops his ass.
Yep.
And like that's like how they win is the guy fears Superman, and like that it was like for a comic book movie it was like the closest thing to being like a really good adaptation of a comic book.
I actually
so far.
I really liked Justice League. Like I thought Justice League was actually like
in
Aqua
the
Bro.
DC universe,
Bro makes me happy. Like he doesn't give a fuck and he's hilarious. And when he sits on her fucking rope. I about pissed myself. I was laughing so fucking hard. He's like, because let's face it. He's like, we're probably going to die. He's like, you don't have any superpowers. No offense. He's like, he points at Cyborg. He's like, we don't even know what side you're on. Yeah. Like, it was fucking hilarious because he was just being a dick.
He's being super honest, though. He's like, no offense. Like,
yeah. And then Wonder Woman, he's like, and you're just so hot. Yeah. And he's like, what the and then he realizes he's sitting on it and you're like, this is awesome.
It's like he doesn't even know. Like he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like even Flash, like I thought I will say this. I think that Ezra Miller. Yeah. I think he actually did a really good job portraying the Flash. I just hate his uniform so fucking much. Like, why do you put the fastest dude alive in some clunky ass fucking armor?
Oh, I don't hate that at all. I hate the way he runs.
Why?
He runs like he's swimming.
Oh, okay.
And it's uncomfortable to watch.
Oh, that's okay. I'll give you that. Makes sense. No, see, I hate the armor. I think he looks like a fucking tool.
See, the armor doesn't bother me just because there's so many incarnations of the Flash suit. Mm-hmm. And that is like... It's kind of close to some they have in the comics. So, like, it is more like body armor rather than, like, a latex suit that he wears, like, in the TV show.
Know. For me, it just seemed dumb. Because it just seemed counterproductive to his purpose. His purpose is to go super fucking fast. So, in my mind, why are you wearing heavy shit? Like, had they had, like, one line where they were like, oh, this is this new material that's, like, super light but super durable. Like, give me just... a lot of time, I just need that line.
My only issue with that... The suit is something they did point out online, in that he hasn't met Batman yet, and he's not really a superhero. Like he doesn't want to be one.
Yeah.
But he has battle armor.
Yeah.
So they didn't really explain it, and they didn't really explain where he got it from,
right?
And or why he would even use it, because right now he's just kind of robbing convenience stores,
right?
And being fast.
Yeah, like I really.
But he has his whole armor.
This is just another thing that pisses me off about DC, because we would have all these fucking answers had they done it the right way and given us origin movies before they gave us a mashup movie.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Like had I got an origin for any of these, I would have all these fucking answers, and then we would had they done an origin version first, we'd be like, oh look. Yeah, because they wanted the fucking money. They didn't want to make a good product. They just wanted goddamn money.
Yeah, they rushed it hardcore.
Ugh,
they rushed all of it. They rushed every movie they've made other than Wonder Woman.
Right, that one was actually good. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, Batman versus Superman, like
rushed.
That was garbage. Yep. Like Snyder's a dick. How you gonna bookend a superhero movie with fucking funerals?
To be
like piece of shit.
Perfectly honest with you, that movie just had too much in it. It didn't focus on the actual Batman versus Superman story arc.
No.
And the actual Batman versus Superman story, the comics are really cool. Like the president asked Superman to go fight Batman.
Oh, okay.
Because Batman's out of control and he starts like torturing people in Gotham and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when Superman's like really well revered on planet Earth already.
Yeah.
And the president's like, dude, I don't know what to do about the bat in Gotham.
Okay.
He's like, could you please go?
Right. And see, and even that would have been better reasoning than what they went with. Yeah. Also, like, how the fuck is Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor? Like,
I don't know.
I'm
not thrilled what they did with
I
his
honestly
weird
can't
character.
name another casting.
They cut him out of Justice League.
Good. I can't imagine another
except the end
character having for me to consider as being a worst casting choice. Like, I literally can't think of one. Like, I feel like somebody in that meeting was like, oh, we should get Heisenberg.
Eisenberg's pretty bad.
And then
dude.
people were like, oh, yeah, Eisenberg. And then one guy's like, no, I fucking said Heisenberg. And they're like, Jesse Eisenberg would be perfect. And they're like, he's like, no, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. I fucking said Heisenberg. And we ended up with Jesse Eisenberg because nobody listened to the one dude that had sense in the room. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, otherwise, Lex Luthor is basically still the dude from the Facebook movie.
He is.
It's fucking dumb.
He is pretty much.
It's so dumb. Like, the only way they could make it better is if they killed him off and they brought in the real Lex Luthor. And it, you know, honestly, I could argue about this whole.
Honestly, man, thing. They're not going to get better unless they take a new creative direction and start rewriting the movies. It's not going to happen. Right. The DC extended universe is
garbage.
It's going in the toilet pretty quick.
Yeah. Like the Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad.
Honestly, man, one of my biggest goals in life is to write a Superman movie. I would love to.
That sounds ridiculous, but
why?
Because I fucking hate Superman.
Dude, fuck you.
No,
Superman's the best.
This is one that we're never going to agree on, and it's fine. Like, I know that you love Superman, and he's like your personal hero. I think that he is a catch-all and not fun to watch. I want to like Superman. I like Smallville.
I just think that's because they haven't done it right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Man of Steel wasn't bad. It's just, it's not. I don't know. That's not. He's boring.
No, Man of Steel wasn't done right. They're all fucking horrible. What? Superman needs to be the leader of the Super Friends.
I just
like, you know what I'm saying?
Superman's the worst.
Like, they need to be like, and I was talking to someone about this. Like the best comic book I can say that they've made movie so far is Ant-Man. Like, it's so fun.
Ant-Man was the shit.
It's standalone. Nothing else matters with it. It's just Ant-Man. This guy falls into this fucking thing and becomes a superhero, and it's so fun. Like, and you don't even miss the part entirely that he's a criminal and that he's a fucking robber.
Yeah.
And he becomes the hero at the end.
No, Ant-Man was awesome. I loved Ant-Man.
And that's how a Superman movie needs to be, like, fun. Like, it needs to be entertaining. Like,
right. But
you know,
yeah. and it's just not going to be because it's going to have Superman.
Well, and they're trying to make it for like adults.
Yeah,
comic books weren't made for people in their 40s.
Not the original ones. No.
Like, you know what
now
I mean?
there are a lot more comics that are out there for everyone, but yes, the originals were.
Oh, I think my next podcast is here. I think we got to wrap it up.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's okay. I mean, we were just going to sit here and argue for more.
No, it's all good.
We've been arguing for a while.
Thanks everyone for listening. We really got to go. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you.
Keep listening.
Subscribe to our other podcast, please. Millennial and Marine. Yep. Millennial and Marine.
Yep.
It's on all the same shit. Hit us up. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.